And our first guest this week joins me via satellite from Boston, Massachusetts. Mr. Richard Schumacher is the CEO of Pressure BioSciences, Incorporated, stock symbols PBIO. Richard, welcome to the program.
Thank you, Don.
Well, now, Richard, Pressure BioSciences describes itself as a company focused on the development of a technology known as pressure cycling technology. Can you give us a brief overview of the company, please?
We are an early-stage biotechnology company developing products and selling products that are based upon the use of pressure cycling technology, as you said. Pressure cycling technology, or PCT, in its easiest definition, is basically harnessing the power of pressure and using that pressure to help us exquisitely manipulate samples in the research setting, such as samples of tissue, samples of cells that researchers are studying for all kinds of things, such as cancer, heart disease, and even environmental, agriculture, and aquaculture issues.
Well, now, Richard, pressure cycling technology, as you said, PCT, has applications in areas such as drug discovery and development, process purification, to name a couple. What we're talking about is extremely scientific in nature and may be difficult to fully understand. Can you possibly break down a typical application usage for us?
I like the word you use, breakdown, because that's one of the great attributes of pressure cycling technology, or PCT. Again, with PCT, we're putting samples under pressure, and then we're turning pressure on and off, and we're allowing that pressure to control how things work inside the sample. And this means a number of things to researchers all over the world. We are able to take samples such as cells and tissues and break them down into the individual components, such as the proteins, the RNA, the DNA, the lipids that make up a cell or tissue. So every day when we hear about scientists looking at trying to find cures for diseases, trying to find out whether something is a infectious agent or not, they're generally opening up that cell or that tissue and reading the information that is inside or on that cell or tissue. And that's what pressure cycling does. We put the samples under pressure, we turn pressure on and off, we very gently and very exquisitely break that sample up into all of the building blocks that make that sample, make that cell, such again as the lipids and the proteins and the DNA and the RNA. And there may be hundreds of different proteins that are making up that sample. So we break it up. It's sort of like what our stomach does to the food we eat. We have to break it up before we can digest it. Researchers who are studying human disease, animal disease, agriculture, aquaculture, all these very, very interesting things, they need to break their samples up, to break them into the basic elements, the proteins and the RNA and DNA that make up that cell or tissue. They need to break it up in a way that they then can take the building blocks, those pieces, and study them to try to determine what's the difference among a group of people that perhaps survived a disease and a group of people who did not. So that, in its simplest definition, is what we do. We take pressure and we put samples under pressure, and by pulsing the pressure on and off, we are then able to break apart those samples so that scientists have a way to study the differences among different cells to try to determine a cause and perhaps even a cure for disease.
That's really fascinating. Now, Richard, what kind of entities or organizations are your customers? And are your revenues derived from sales of apparatus or technology licensing, perhaps that and more?
It's a good question, Don. We're very proud of our customer base. The company's a little over 4 years old. A lot of people look at our customer base and are in awe, quite frankly, of the types of customers that we have. We sell our instruments, and it's a razor blade story. We sell instruments that generate the pressure. We also sell the consumables in which the research scientist puts their sample, their hair, their piece of tissue, their cell, to break it apart to be able to look at it. So we sell consumables and the instrument. We sell them basically right now to researchers all over the country, and soon we expect all over the world. These are researchers that are studying diseases, trying to find cures, trying to find reasons for certain diseases to occur, or find reasons why some people have survived and some people haven't. The scientists who are purchasing the equipment now and purchasing the consumables are scientists from the government. There are scientists from academic institutions all over the country. There are scientists from pharmaceutical and biotechnology. For instance, our customers include Amgen and Novartis and Merck and Lilly and Bristol Myers Squibb. Our customers include the National Institutes of Health, the Center for Disease Control, the FBI, the FDA, the U.S. Department of Agriculture. Our customers include Harvard and Stanford and University of Texas, North Texas, and they include the University of New Hampshire and the medical school, the dental school, and the School of Public Health at Harvard. Our customers include a number of companies that are looking at developing diagnostics and pharmaceuticals in the area of biotechnology and biopharmaceuticals. So it's a list of about 100 customers over the last 2.5, 3 years that we've been able to put together that we're very, very proud of. And the nice thing about it, Don, is these customers are not only using the product, but they're starting to publish and present their data, and that's what has us excited. Just in the past month, there's been over 15 presentations on our technology at 3 or 4 major scientific meetings in the U.S. alone, where some of the customers we've mentioned have stood in front of their peers and have said the way we broke open our samples to begin with, in order to study the sample, is by using pressure cycling technology.